Good day, everybody. Finally here with Morsels of a Thought number 1792. Technical issues. Very interesting technical issues, but that took me about half an hour. I'm sorry. We're here on morning number 1792. 1792. Ah. We've been here this many days in a row, morsels of a thought of wisdom, hopefully that we learn the right things to do, and then learn how to do the right things, which means action, which means virtue. I'm not very wise, but other people's life experiences can be relayed to you through me. Brain Rescue is one of these. I am reading this through the time number 2. And he says this book, Brain Rescue, a 90-day blueprint to reclaim your memory after a brain injury or concussion. We read through this book, and now we have to read through a second time. Hopefully that we really do all the work that that brain injuries entail. It's going to take more time than I have to bring you the info in the book, but I hope that you're able to do some of the things during the week before we read again. This book, says Dr. Brody Miller, Ph.D., is dedicated to my amazing wife, Rocio, mi pajarita más bonita del mundo. Thank you deeply for believing in me when I didn't yet believe in myself. Now, I don't know what that said. To my loving parents, Lori and Tom Miller. Thank you for your unwavering support, standing by me, and never giving up through all of the dark storms we have faced and overcome. To all my friends and family members, I love y'all. To the reader, your recovery process is not always going to be an easy process. There will be many highs and lows. Like most people, you also have questions and doubts. I encourage you to give yourself lots of patience and compassion. Trust in the process and the incredible ability of the brain to get better over time. Somehow we didn't get to that part last time, I don't think. Not sure. The contents. Who is this book for? The introduction, rewiring the broken circuit, the irony of head injury, starting your recovery journey. The first pillar, R, is for REFOCUS. Chapter 5, the second pillar, E, is for ENGAGE. Chapter 6, the third pillar, B, is for BRAIN. Chapter 7, the fourth pillar, O, is for OPTIMIZE. Chapter 8, the fifth pillar, U, is for UNLEASH. Chapter 9, the sixth pillar, N, is for NEXUS. Chapter 10, the seventh pillar, D, is for DEDICATE. Chapter 11, Brain Injury Warriors, quote, Stories of Hope, end quote. Afterward, and bonus chapter, citations, and about the author. This is so good. All right, now, who is this book for? Now, Dr. Brody Miller, his words. I'll admit writing this is emotional for me. This book is for a version of myself I'll never forget, speaking to the version that desperately needed love and didn't yet believe in his ability to heal. I was committed to getting better, but I didn't know how to build. Sorry about that. It's one of those things Apple does on its phones. I need to write them an email. They shouldn't put the alarm on during silent mode. speaking to the version that desperately needed love and didn't yet believe in his ability to heal. I was committed to getting better. This is Dr. Brody Miller, Ph.D. But I didn't know how to build momentum. If you're reading this, you might feel that same sense of confusion, frustration, or fear right now. I've been there. A quick heads up. Some parts of this book might be hard to hear or seem rather offensive. It is not my intention to make anyone feel bad about where they are in their recovery journey. I understand that brain injury comes in many forms and there is no, quote, one size fits all solution. But if you're here, it's because you are ready for a change or a shift, and that's exactly what I'm going to help you achieve. This book is written for all the brave brain injury survivors dealing with the long lasting effects of post concussion syndrome or all the other many manifestations of brain injury. If you are navigating the challenges of life after an accident, you get how difficult it can be to reclaim your focus, your memory, your momentum, and your sense of normalcy. Even if you've experienced concussions before, the impact of this one may feel different, more severe, and more lasting. If it's been months and you're still battling with brain fog, memory lapses, and impulsiveness, while your relationships and professional goals seem to slip further out of your control, then you understand it can be hard to stay optimistic. You've probably tried many types of, quote, self improvement, end quote, before, but right now you are at a crossroad. You want more clarity, more actionable steps, and real tools that can help you get back on track, not feeling isolated or abandoned by your friends and loved ones. You've tried lots of things, but nothing seems to work, or at least not for long. You're searching for a solution that goes beyond symptom management and dives deep into the root cause of your issues. This book will help you understand what's happening in your brain and how you can start recovering in a way that's practical, empowering, and specific to your unique needs. This isn't just theory. It's a proven approach grounded in both science and my own personal experience. The methods I share here helped me heal, and they've helped countless others do the same. Now, we are reading from Brain Rescue of 90-Day Blueprint to Reclaim Your Memory After a Brain Injury or Concussion. We are here to get some morsels of a thought of the right things to do. If you've ever bumped your head, which I think everybody has done, I have had several accidents and one prescription injury. So, what happened was the first time I was 9 years old and a kickball came from the opposite end of the schoolyard. And I'll show you what that looks like. It's this. It's a kickball. This is a kickball. This is a kickball. And it hit me in the head really hard from a velocity of probably 25 miles per hour because it was going fast, maybe even more than that. It hit me on the head right here like this. Ow! Shit. Don't do that. Fuck. Excuse me. Ugh, I'm leaving it on the floor. Okay. So, worried about my cats getting to it. Excuse me. This is meant to be some entertainment too, education, a little bit of inspiration for you to have a great day after I've done all my reading to you, and to impart good wisdom. I've been here 1,792 days in a row. I'm not very wise. But what these wise people can convey to you in their life experiences is gold. It is valuable. Good morning, Colleen Dracos. Good morning, Gina Portoff. Hope you guys are safe in Chicago, where there's a storm coming in today and tomorrow. Both of you are driving long distances away from there as soon as you can, but you're going to be in almost 10 inches of snow in one day today, as far as I know. There were storm warnings that woke up my friend over there this morning at 5 a.m. on their cell phones. I guess there was some kind of regional thing. So, anyway, wisdom from other people, including Dr. Brody Miller, Ph.D. We are bringing virtue into the world. The way it's working is virtue is when you do the right thing. Wisdom is when you learn what the right thing is. And knowledge, well, that can be either way. That can be positive, that can be negative. But wisdom is learning the right things to do for yourself, for society, for mankind, for the world, for the universe, etc. Okay, back to the author. No need to feel lost anymore. The path to recovery starts with understanding, and this book will give you that clarity and the tools necessary to take control of your healing journey. As you read through the pages, you'll feel a renewed sense of empowerment. You'll learn actionable steps and hear real life stories that show what's possible when you apply the right mindset and strategies. Let's get started. This book will push you to face the deep part of you and take the necessary steps toward a successful recovery. I'll be with you every step of the way because I know you can do this. The introduction. Lao Tzu said, okay, here, actually, hold on. There's another quote. It says, quote, "The doctor with a broken brain. How to go from foggy to focused in 90 days." You there? Oh, there. Oh, gotcha. Good morning, Debbie Baza. Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning, John Clark. Good morning, Tom Krebs. Even good morning, John Jones. Anybody who's hit themselves on the head by mistake? Well, we always say it's a mistake to hit ourselves on the head unless we go like that, and that's not good for yourself. Lao Tzu said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Statistically speaking, I should be a dead man, says the author, but the universe had other plans for me. Hi, I'm Dr. Brody, and I'm here to show you how to reclaim your memory, your focus, and your life, even if it feels like all hope is lost. My story is I'm so sorry. There's a lot of stuff going on. Hi, these are the words of the author, Dr. Brody Miller, PhD. I'm Dr. Brody, and I'm here to show you how to reclaim your memory, your focus, and your life, even if it feels like all hope is lost. My story isn't just about recovery, it's about resilience, rebirth, and the incredible power of the human brain to heal. I wasn't always known as Dr. Brody. In the past, people labeled me as a drunk, punk, drug addict, and failure. However, today, I'm a well known brain rehabilitation specialist and an accredited doctor with a PhD, capital D. I'm living proof that no matter how far you've fallen, it's possible to rebuild and thrive. This is my wild story from failures to freedom. In 2013, I was a walking disaster. One warm summer night outside of a dingy nightclub, I found myself stumbling around, so drunk I could barely even stand. Liquid courage was pulsing through my veins, and I decided it was a good idea to pick a fight with a bouncer who was 3 times my size. We are reading from Dr. Brody Miller, Ph.D., Brain Rescue, a 90-day blueprint to reclaim your memory after a brain injury or concussion, because knowing the right things to do brings us wisdom. It is wisdom. Doing the right things is virtue. I'm trying to bring more virtue into the world, morsels of a thought at a time. Today is Morsels of a Thought number 1792. The dude threw a vicious haymaker that knocked me out cold on the street. I was knocked completely unconscious for over 5 minutes as everyone froze in shock as to what just happened. To add insult to injury, the whole incident was caught on camera and went viral on the internet. Seriously, a local news TV station broadcasted my lowest moment to the world, and eventually over 100,000 people had front row tickets to me at my absolute worst. I do not remember much from that time, but I do remember the shame and humiliation I felt as my parents watched the video. My dad took it especially hard as he responded in anger, saying, "I'm going to find this bastard and beat the shit out of him." The months that followed were a blur of pain, regret, and suffocating darkness. I fell into a deep brain fog and stayed isolated in my house for months. The world was a blur as I felt completely numb to everyone and everything. My memory felt like a shattered mirror, pieces scattered so far that I could hardly remember who I was anymore. The depression was depression was relentless and followed me everywhere like a black cloud. I vividly remember staring at myself in the mirror, hating my own reflection, and pulling out my hair, asking questions like, "Why couldn't you have just died?" Life was pain, and pain was life for me. This was when my reckless nature truly went into overdrive. My decision making abilities became that of a 4-year-old child again. Deep down, I was crying for help, but nothing was coming to save me. I wanted to feel something, really anything, to make me feel alive again. So I got into rock climbing and combined it with taking drugs, taunting death with every ascent. But at least I felt alive again. Eventually, I got a DUI, and my family sent me to a 9-month drug rehab program. I graduated the first stage and moved to a step down program in Tucson, Arizona. I thought maybe, just maybe, that I was Humpty Dumpty and I could put all the pieces back together in my life again. Recovering from a brain injury is like one big scattered puzzle with pieces thrown all over the place that you have to slowly put back together. However, I was doing relatively well until the day arrived which changed my life forever. It was a hot, sunny day, and I was speaking to my AA sponsor about the fourth step to admit my deepest, darkest secrets. And bam, out of nowhere, I felt an immense burst of energy, like all my walls were closing in. My panicking body literally screamed out in sheer pain, while my mind felt a deep sense of doom. Was I dying? I blacked out completely and awoke in a hospital bed. Doctors told me, "Mr. Miller, you just had 3 grand mal seizures." Oh, great. Doctors ordered a brain scan and discovered a 2.5 centimeter cavernous malformation, essentially a benign brain tumor, in my left frontal lobe that was leaking blood into my brain. That was the culprit that was causing the seizures. A few months later, neurosurgeons cut open my brain and removed the malformation. Was I on the right path finally? Sadly, no. Just 3 days after the surgery, I suffered another horrific set of seizures and was rushed back to the hospital. The ordeal escalated as I was airlifted by helicopter to a hospital in Phoenix. Thankfully, it turned out not to be life-threatening, but it was incredibly frightening, an incredibly frightening time for all of us. Adding to the stress, I realized how broken the medical system was when my family was hit with a staggering bill of over $80,000 for the helicopter ride and treatment. The next few years, things did not improve. In fact, they worsened. I continued to have three grand mal seizures a month, hitting my head, bloodying my nose, and experiencing more concussions. Not exactly the best thing for brain health. They filled me up with all kinds of meds, antidepressants, antipsychotics, anti-seizure meds, etc. I ended having such a violent reaction to Keppra, an anti-seizure medication, that I started feeling homicidal. Have you ever felt that eerie feeling? Being suicidal is one thing, but to have the urge and drive to kill another person is equally as scary. I was acting insane. Well, I was insane. And so I was taken to a mental institution for a night. The AA wisdom, hospitals, jails, and mental institutions, really rang true to me. There was only one ugly horseman left, and that was death. I ended up developing horrific chronic nerve pain in both of my forearms that was so bad that I couldn't even do a single push up without excruciating pain. My loving family and I constantly went from one medical professional to the next, test after test, desperately searching for answers, but we only received confused looks and blank stares back from the doctors. Maybe you've been there or somewhere like it. Perhaps you're struggling with brain fog, memory lapses, or a sense that life as you knew it is slipping through your fingers. I see you. I know the questions that keep you up at night. Will I ever feel normal again? Can I get my life back? The answer is a resounding yes. This book is proof. The truth is, your brain is not broken. As a matter of fact, it's capable of incredible healing. Neuroplasticity, the science of change, is the key to rewriting your brain's story. It's not just theory, it's the very thing that saved my life. For those of you who may not know, neuroplasticity is the ability of the brain and nervous system to change, heal, and adapt in response to our deepest beliefs, thoughts, emotions, actions, behaviors, and habits. The healthcare system doesn't want you to believe this. They want you to be reliant on their opinions and authority, but they are dead wrong. Neuroplasticity gave me hope in my darkest hours. I'm not the only one who has witnessed the power of neuroplasticity. Friends of mine have defied the odds, recovering from injuries like diffuse axonal injury, one of the most severe forms of brain trauma. 90% of people diagnosed with this form of injury never emerge from a minimally conscious state. They too were told their futures were bleak, and they too proved the experts wrong. What I spoke above, what I spoke of above is why I call myself the doctor who used to have a quote, broken brain, end quote. Because at the time of my injury, doctors told me I had a broken brain, and now, ironically, I am a doctor with his Ph.D. How ironic! I am living proof that you can make a comeback with your brain health, regardless of how bad it seems, regardless of what a whitey-tidy, underwear-wearing doctor tells you. So we will start again in the introduction about how life is not easy for everyone there with Dr. Brody Miller next Friday. Okay, talk to you later. Sorry about all those technical difficulties and all those little blowups. My God, three of them in one broadcast. Okay, well, we're done. I hope you have a great day. I hope you are inspired to do the right things for yourself. Okay? Old Kinderhook.